Have you ever found yourself lost in an Elder Scrolls world, wondering what it would be like to run your very own kingdom? Well, look no further as we build, rule, and forcibly marry our subjects in the hopes of thwarting assassinations, reducing adultery, and prospering as a kingdom. So, can we survive 100 days in Elder Scrolls castles? Let's find out. They say great dynasties are born from single acts of courage, moments celebrated for generations. Such a moment came when Odar the Brave led us to defeat the ogres that plagued this land. He was made ruler of a small kingdom by the Emperor. Odar left a life of adventure to establish a new dynasty, but heavy are the crown's duties on the ruler's head, and with time, Odar began to dream of new conquests, though perhaps not the kind Queen Isabel approved of. Our journey begins with Cassius the Elder welcoming us to the kingdom in the Empire of Tamriel. He notes that each day we serve is a year of our subjects' lives. We will watch them grow from little baby milk drinkers to adults catching arrows to the knee. Their fate is in our hands. We're introduced to the throne room, where King Odar makes all the important decisions. On the top of his list today is adultery. Isabel, the king's spouse, curses the Khajiit temptress and asks for justice. We are now able to pick a card to respond with. Some instances you can only pick one, whereas others you'll have multiple cards to respond with. I pass my ruling and denounce the Khajiit. After each outcome, my subject will respond in various ways. You can see Isabel is holding a grudge here, although it seems she isn't the only one frustrated with the king. Since Cassius is all about productivity, we skip grieving and move straight to picking our next ruler for our dynasty. I'm given a few choices: Jafar, the heir to the throne; Isabel, the king's widow; Alassi, the king's lover; or Rahim, the champion. It's a hard choice, but as I gaze into Rahim's insightful eyes, I know who will guide us to glory with his strong leadership skills. If you're a fan of Elder Scrolls games, let me know if you have a favorite race you like to play as. Mine's the Khajiit. And so begins day one of King Rahim's rule. Straight off the bar, Jafar, the king's son, approaches us in anger. To avoid any further fighting, I ask him to be my friend and help me rule. Surely this will pay off. Cassius jumps in to help us with a building and castle tutorial. First off, we need to expand the walls to make more space. I follow the prompts and begin adding small square rooms to the castle. To separate the new spaces, I place some walls. After adding a bit more room, I can now add floors. Cassius lets me know that the floors and walls are free to build. That might come in handy later. To finish off the room, I add some stairs so my subjects can get access to both levels. If I ever want to get rid of an area, all I have to do is tap on it and I'll be refunded the materials. As my loyal subjects begin to wander around the castle, Cassius helps me build a kitchen to stop them from becoming hangry. With that placed, I also add in an oil press. Just as we finish, a newcomer arrives at the gates. I put the Argonians straight to work in the kitchen. It's important to keep that area stocked, as subjects will begin to lose health if this bar stays below the threshold for too long. I collect some resources, and after having a snack, Cassius tells me that if the oil meter becomes too low, the castle will go dark and subjects will stop working. As the castle's lights fade, I add Marza to work at the oil press, bringing us back to action. Lastly, as we continue to keep our castle stocked, I complete new tasks so our kingdom will grow and we will unlock new things to build. I tick off another task, then I add Isabel to the oil press and collect the experience reward. We gained a level. Hurrah! Have some wood. With the newly acquired resource, I level up my kitchen, increasing its productivity. After checking on my subjects, I gain another level, unlocking the mill, which can be used to build materials that improve various workstations. I add it to the upstairs area and assign Devilia and Melora to take care of it. While exploring my castle, I see a cute little orc playing behind the throne and Alessi hanging about as well. At the castle gates, Lyrandil arrives, wearing a labourer's shirt and holding a chisel. Cassius lets me know that each of these items will enhance productivity in the mill. I set her to work. With resources trickling in, I upgrade the oil press, gain a level and unlock Gorbak the Haunted. What a charming name. I set him to work at the oil press, then scroll through a list of my subjects, noting that the symbol above their heads lets me know what they're doing in the castle. Oil press, kitchen, and having a snooze? What do we pay Cassius for again? I note down a few more subjects that are jobless and begin setting them up on various areas. Jafar heads to the kitchen as well as Alessi. I put Cassius to the mill and note down that each resource card will let me know who I assigned, as well as the productivity levels, item being made, and its time limit. I pause a moment to watch Isabel and Alessi wrestle in the kitchen, then upgrade it to break them up. After exploring once more, I look close at the character cards of Tobin, one of the castle children. On the card it shows their name, health and temperament. Guess we'll keep him away from any matches. But on the other side of the card, it shows their more in-depth stats, their family tree, and even their enemy. Even better, if I click on any person, I'm able to immediately find them in the castle. In no time, I am able to unlock another resource building, the loom. Before placing it, I check in on Rahim's rulings, accepting a coronation gift from the Emperor and allowing Alessi to keep a shiny rock she found on the floor. Cassius reminds me that certain rulings will determine the happiness of specific castle goers. As we ramp up to the 30 mark, it looks like each of my subjects are happy with the castle and living their full lives loving, fighting, or chit-chatting. I check my castle report to find new tasks to help me level up, then decide to build more rooms for my loom. I drag it into place, and Cassius lets me know that this workspace will help me create materials that I can later use on outfits. I assign some of my subjects to begin and unlock a reward called a pack. Turns out I have 2 of them hiding in my inventory, so I open them both up, unlocking a new subject, Shadal, as well as some outfits, resources, and a scroll. I head over to the kitchen and equip Pedilis with a chef uniform. As I move over to the oil press, I watch as Gorbak lives up to his name as a ghost stilts his production. Cassius offers me some a potion, to help out with work production, and as I level up, we have a groggy conversation about decorations that add style and various bonuses to the castle. A moment later, wedding bells chime as I unlock the Shrine of Mara. It's huge, so I add some extra room to place it. Cassius tells me that the shrine allows me to marry subjects. Commoners become nobles when married to a noble, which makes them eligible to replace a ruler when they die. I begin equipping better outfits to my subjects, allowing Isabel to change from her noble clothing to some workers' wear. Hopefully having a new purpose will let her move on from the throne. Opening another pack, I gain an item as well as Zan, the Khajiit. I let him hold on to the new gear. Alessi and Rahim chat on the throne about ogres, and after that encounter, I unlock a furnace. Cassius gives me a lesson on bank management, noting that gold is one of our most useful resources in expanding the castle. To keep my gold up, I can complete orders that trade for resources. The way the loss will affect me is represented on the oil and food bar above. I complete a couple orders, then decide to move my workstations around and build some new rooms to make space for a furnace where I can create tools, weapons, and armor, adding Zan to begin preparations. Heading back to Rahim on the throne, I see that many rulings have consequences and outcomes, as a previous rule where I hired mercenaries to take care of an ogre problem have returned wanting payment. I reward them and take resources from the ogre's lair. I'm also presented with my first ruling where 2 minorities will be affected. My subjects want to host a party, and I can choose between no celebration, celebrate with everyone, or just the nobles. I decide to keep everyone happy, hoping the resource cost won't bite me later. With everyone in good spirits, I can upgrade the kitchen to level 4 and decide to build a bed near the front of the castle. Cassius advises me to double insulate the walls of this room, as this is where the subjects come together to get hot and steamy. With a new pack unlocked, I gain Octavianus, a sophisticated subject. I put him to work in the kitchen to give him some sophisticated skills. After taking my eyes off the oil press for too long, the castle has gone dark and levels begin to drop. Luckily, Rahim is passing judgment on some townsfolk who have caught a notorious poacher and are deciding to boil him. I vote to scold the townsfolk, figuratively of course, and confiscate their oil, bringing my castle back into action. While I'm at it, I decide to bring Devilia and Marza to the Shrine of Mara to get married, but shortly realize that they are incompatible. Devilia might actually be married to the king. Is that considered treason? Isabel arrives at the throne, asking Rahim to bring Alessi to justice, accusing her of her husband's murder. I quell her worries, noting that we will avenge the former king. Rounding up to about 60 days, the castle is in good spirits, and new items and outfits mean my workers are more productive. I also have another go at being Cupid, this time matchmaking Melora and Gorbak. What could go wrong? They seem to hit it off, however the crowd seems unconvinced. Give the guy a chance. While we're here, I marry Zan and Alessi, hoping Isabel squashes her beef seeing Alessi moving on from the late king. The 2 Khajiit seal the deal. I send them to the bedroom to take care of business, and in a few moments' time, out pops the cutest little baby, Majyad. Look at its fluffy little cat face. The 2 parents get a major happiness boost, then continue with their respective jobs. As my castle continues to grow, morale seems to be down. I decide to set out on the long journey of slowly bringing back everyone's glowing smiles. First off, I add Melora and Gorbak to the bedroom, using the baby to bring up their spirits. Now, let's see this cute little rascal. Oh, little Krodak, what a nice, haunted red eyes you have. I suppose he takes after his father. In celebration of the new baby, I build a workshop for creating tools and weapons. I assign Shadal, hoping they will perk up with another job opportunity. With my level rising higher, I make space for a war room, a place where I can start to send subjects out on quests. A new adventurer enters the castle gates, and I slap them straight onto a mission. Let's hope Isaiah can handle it. Subjects fight automatically while on quests. However, they have special skills you can trigger in battle. Our warrior is victorious, and we earn various loot. Soon after, another adventurer appears at the gates, so I take both of them on another quest. I equip the new fighter Leoness with an iron sword, and they easily take down the next wave of enemies. As we reach the 80s mark, I decide to upgrade another workstation and make sure each area is running to its best ability. I start making some iron spoons in the workshop to help our staff in the kitchen, then decide to set Rahim out with our adventurers. He is a champion after all. I use some special moves and take care of our enemies. When we return, Cassius mentions reports of an aggressive dragon which has been attacking towns, and Jafar asks me to deal with a Red Guard lumber camp that have been mistreating their workers. I shut down the camp and take the lumber. The poacher who escaped the boil makes a return as he flees on one of our ships. I curse our mistake and everyone seems upset about it. Seeing Leoness and Isaiah are saddened at the war table, I decide to lift their spirits by marrying them at the shrine. Everyone seems happy, so I lock the lovebirds in the bedroom and give it a shake. Jafar and Melora decide they want to build an inn, so I give them my blessings. Then back in the bedroom, Quintia is born with a mighty leadership perk. After studying a few more castle goers, I note that personality traits each affect work productivity. Certain people work better at the oil press and smithy than in places like the kitchen. On top of that, they also grant various buffs depending on the trait. I begin to try and match personality to station, and it works in my favor, as subjects seem to have a glow about them. As workstations level up further, I need a new resource, limestone, which can be unlocked through a quest. I prep my troops and move out to Quarry Road. We take down the attackers and claim the site. After the fight, I realize that we're at the 90-day point. We have come so far, but before I leave my castle, I want to unlock a few more buildings that will help with subjects healing their health, as well as some form of entertainment. Immediately, I convert my mill over from wood to limestone so I can create a buffet. After the resource is collected, I move my castle around, then set up the healing station close to the war room. That way I can easily heal adventurers hurt in battle. I assign Isaiah first as she has dropped down to 37 health points. To keep ahead of my resources and fashion, I level up the clothing I have by merging similar pieces together, creating stronger outfits with larger buffs at workstations. I do the same with my items. Damn, that's a fine spoon. Rahim is asked to deal with a mushroom problem in the fields and decides to burn the affected crops, protecting the commoners from harm's way. I receive a new subject at the gates, Kuzda, and decide to send her straight to the kitchen due to her personality type. After growing another level, I unlock a music stage. This should be perfect to bring up the mood around here. I take Octavianus the Sophisticated out of the kitchen, then let him wander until I can build the entertainment area. As I watch him mope around the castle, I decide to matchmake him instead, pairing him with the newly acquired Kuzda. They hit it off, and baby Elanabi is born with an interesting personality type. Sophisticated and haunted. Rahim is complemented by some Axa rock artists, and I respond by receiving a lovely suit of armor from them. I equip it to Shadal at the war table, then decide to marry him off to Lirindal. Shadal refuses to take off his armor in the bedroom, however Lirindal kinda digs it. In a moment's time we are introduced to baby Hosni, the volatile Red Guard. Volatile? But he looks so innocent. The whole roster is looking pretty happy at this point. Resources are up, Rahim even throws in some extra food for the Emperor's birthday celebrations, and everyone seems to be happy. Diwali approaches the throne hesitantly, mentioning a traitor within the castle. I could blame many, but squash the rumors instead. Hopefully they're not true, lest I end up like Odar. After saving up a bunch of limestones, I finally unlock the music stage, placing it right next to the throne. Now, when individual subjects don't like my ruling, I can slap them straight onto the flute for some forced distractions. With 2 more days left, I check in on my subjects. Everyone seems quite content with their jobs, they have ample gear to help them out and resources to boost their happiness and health if need be. Construction even finishes at the inn, and I supply everyone with free food and drinks for the opening. In my final day, I spruce up the throne room with some banners and armor, and with that, the clock ticks over and I take a moment to gaze upon my castle. Not too bad for 100 days. If you enjoyed this playthrough, throw me a like or subscribe to the channel. It makes a world of difference having subscribers who are active, so if you have any comments, chuck them down below, or you can even tell me what your favorite Elder Scrolls race is. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.